interesting. The content that people were generating there was very messy and quite lewd. So it couldn't really be used in the same way as we talk about the other stuff of just publishing it. But what we could do is use the tracking to generate text and content based on usage. So based on how you behaved in this site and what kind of character you were and who your friends were, we could create fortune cookies and different kind of customized response. So we could create formatted experiences out of your sort of activity. This is an adaptation of Online Caroline for a particular edutainment market. So that's about thinking laterally about the marketplace for what you've got. So that this was about getting teenage girls to be interested in physics through drama. It kind of worked. We got a few thousand people, and the response was, "I think it's so cool that you do astrophysics." You see, we got people to actually say, "I thought it was dull, but now I think I might do it." And that was what they wanted, was just that sort of buy-in. So that wasn't about getting millions of people to interact. That was about getting like a few hundred of those kids to really commit to, "I might do physics in university." So it's not always about quantity, it can be about the quality of the response. This is a fictional blog that I set up a few years ago. That was funded by Writers for the Future and Nesta, but also a bit by Channel 4. And it's the creation of a fictional town, a town that didn't exist, called Alton, through people's sort of memories of their own, of things that they've sort of lost or hadn't quite sort of captured in their life, and they wanted a place to house it. And then we built a map of the town out of everybody's sort of testimonies. And it proved to be very kind of successful. And I then designed playing cards and navigation for it out of all the pictures and stuff that people sent. And actually then captured their voices reading out some of their stuff and turned it into a Radio 4 afternoon play. With, so users on the site were contributing to a story that you listened to. And we got lots of weird stuff. Didn't just get texts, we got pictures and actually objects as well that I had to integrate. And that's when user-generated kind of gets a bit out of control. You get loads of it. And you still want to try and tell a meaningful story and honour everybody's contribution. That becomes quite a technical problem for a writer or for the producer to try and make something formatable out of all that stuff. But I think we did reasonably well with that. These are ones that we're working on right now. This is about turning your fridge or devices into storytellers. So just as I said that you generate fortune cookies out of people's behaviour, there's no reason, or that you create a character like Online Caroline out of a set of emails and images. There's no reason why any device in the home couldn't become a character and couldn't sort of start generating text and audio based on an interaction with you. And that's quite good for kids to think that the fridge is another person in the home. And from that it can generate that you can run it like a Tamagotchi pet, but also it's got a special relationship with the kid that it doesn't have with the parents. And there are revenue models for then interacting with it via the mobile phone. But also I'm very interested in this idea that you might capture yourself through the phone and then stick yourself in an adventure story. And so all your conversations with the fridge and all the things that you take pictures of yourself become the assets about which you create a storybook that both the parents and the child can make together. In fact, so that this might be a layout with your picture and your name and some things, text messages that you interacted between your mum or your dad at work, integrated with a linear story. And we've got ways of working with audio that you might be able to integrate and remix the soundtrack for that, rather like Peter and the Wolf, but with your own voices and your parents' voices and stuff to create your own sort of little adventure stories, all narrated by the fridge, your fridge.
10 minutes.
10 minutes, right. So and this is the last one that I'm doing at the moment, which is a project probably very relevant to broadcasters now, which is everybody's interested in this Web 2.0 content generation, but they ain't got a business model for it, and it seems a bit chaotic. So this is an experiment in trying to, this is about going to the moon and playing golf, and these are some of the things that I'm trying to experiment with, which is interaction through services like Twitter and SMS, playing around with Lego, which I see people doing here today, playing around with Action Men, and then actually reenacting anything you do with an Action Man that I'll do. I brought my Action Man with me, so if you want to try that today, you're very welcome. And also getting out on the streets for flash mobs and creating kind of narrative events based on this interaction with this community. And you see I've people have been turning up in spaces around and interacting with me and with the story to get me to simulate my mission to the moon. Yet to achieve that, although there is of course a certain amount of Bowie simulation that can go on. No, that's it. Wait. Ooh. That's me.